What is the difference between these two items? Is it the quality? Is it the brand? Or is it the whopping 10x price difference that contributes to all the hype? Well, that's for you, the consumer, to decide or to justify. My job here today is just to share with you guys more affordable alternatives to expensive, popular fashion items, ranging from clothing items to accessories, even to fragrances. And keep in mind, I say more affordable, not cheap, because some of these are still quite the investment. But if you've been looking for something, for example, like a RIMOWA suitcase, but you don't have $2,000 to spend, and you want something similar, I found a suitcase that is less than half the price of that. As always, everything will be linked in the description below if you are interested. So since I just mentioned RIMOWA, let's start with RIMOWA. RIMOWA suitcases are absolutely taking over the internet at the moment because of their iconic aluminum design as well as their build quality. But not everybody has $1,500 laying around, nor do most people want to spend $1,500 on an aluminum suitcase that's probably going to get dented the second you use it. So if you're looking for a similar design as well as multiple color options, Frederick has a carry-on X suitcase, which comes in at $695. So $695 versus $1,500, it's a pretty good difference. However, the suitcase itself is not fully aluminum like RIMOWA's. It is a polycarbonate shell, so it is more durable, but the frame itself is aluminum, which actually might be more ideal for most people because it's just not going to get damaged as easily. The next item we have is the classic Louis Vuitton KEEPALL. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of Louis Vuitton whatsoever, but I will admit that their vintage KEEPALL is super classy. The tan and brown colorway is a perfect color combo for timelessness. So much so that I actually bought this Coach duffel bag a while back, which is the Coach Gotham duffel in carriage print. Unfortunately, it is no longer available, but there is another option, which is the Compass Bag 50 in the signature canvas for $595. And if you don't care for their largest version, you can even bring that price back a little bit further with their 45 duffel bag coming in at $495. Now, if this is still way out of your price range and you don't really care for a canvas leather duffel bag, then you could go for something like this Herschel bag, which comes in a very similar color combo for $110. One footwear item that has been very popular over the past 2 years in particular is the Dries van Noten sneakers. These sneakers cost $585. They're known for their paper thin sole. They're very interesting silhouette, not short king friendly. It gives you literally about a millimeter lift. So if you're still looking for something with buttery smooth suede as well as Italian leather, the Suitsupply suede sneakers from their fall collection are a great option, coming in at $229. The Suitsupply ones are still out of your budget. You also have the cost version of these called the minimal suede sneakers, which look nearly identical for $159, and their cognac version, this colorway, looks so sick. Another prominent sneaker you're seeing all over social media is the Maison Margiela Gats, the classic army sneaker. Now, the Maison Margiela Gats range from $700 to $800 USD, which is extremely expensive for a sneaker. Thankfully, there is plenty alternatives to these. First, we have the Scarrosso Hans White, which is $380. These are actually my favorite sneakers I've ever owned. I'm actually gonna go buy another pair of these, but these are still too expensive for most people. So another option is the Beckett Simmons Morgen trainer sneakers, which cost $178. They also use very premium materials. The only downside to Beckett Simmons is they have a 1 month to 3 month lead time because they're made to order. So keep that in mind. And of course, you have the original BW Army Adidas Gats, which you can get right away for $120. Actually came out before the Maison Margiela Gats. Interesting. And how could I leave out the most popular trust fund shoe of all, the LORO PIANA Summer Walks? The LORO PIANA Summer Walks cost an outrageous $1,045. If you've been following me for a long time, you already know the alternatives to these shoes that I talk about all the time. So if you're looking for multiple color options, top-notch materials, almost identical to LORO PIANA, Scarosso has a massive collection of different loafers called the Ludovico loafers, and these cost $380. Now, Suitsupply also has a few color options as well, offering very similar quality for $329. And the cheapest alternative that I can find without sacrificing quality too much is the Massimo Dutti split leather loafers for $200. Before we get into our accessories, quick shout out to today's video sponsor, Dries, with their new humidifier 717S. Now that summer is fading, the nips are starting to get more prominent, the air is getting drier, skin's starting to feel a bit rough, you're waking up with lizard lips. This is the perfect time to be whipping out your humidifier. This Dries humidifier gives you both warm mist to fight off the winter dryness as well as things like nasal congestion, and then a cool mist for things like your plants or even for your skincare. I personally keep one in my office, one in my bedroom, just in the areas that I use the most frequently. It's really quiet, super minimal, and you can actually even customize the RGB lighting on this. So if you have a sick setup with lights all over your place, you can actually integrate this to match your setup. Plus, with the Dreo app, you can actually use things like Alexa, Google Home, Siri to turn it on, to turn it off. It's pretty sick. And honestly, most humidifiers cost way too much money, but Dreo keeps the power without the markup. So if you guys are interested in the Dreo 717S humidifier, I'll leave a link in the description below. And let's get back to our accessories. So starting with the most popular wallet that I'm seeing these days, coming from GOYARD. Now I'm typically seeing the Solstice card wallet, which costs around $590. And I also see the St. Pierre 6 card holder, which comes in at around $800. I say range because a lot of the times you're only seeing it from resellers. It's very difficult to get your hands on GOYARD because they don't do online sales. Now when it comes to the alternatives for this wallet, I was looking for something that has a monogram kind of similar to GOYARD, as well as multiple bright color options, because that's what we see from GOYARD. And one of the most underrated French brands that actually has a longer history than GOYARD is Faure Le Page. If you guys have seen my little purse, you guys call it, that is from Faure Le Page. It's a super underrated brand, and it has a very similar style as well as aesthetic. Faure Le Page's card holder comes in at $290 versus GOYARD's $590 card holder. And then Faure Le Page's pocket wallet comes in at $410 USD versus $800. Another option, much classier, is Mont Blanc's 3.0 credit card holder, which has their classic stitch pattern. And this is actually real leather. It's not using canvas, so it's actually a better deal. And it comes in at $245, which is much more reasonable. And then you also have the Extreme 3.0 card holder, which carries 4 cards, coming in at $345. I think we can all agree Van Cleef is having a big moment right now, even for men. It used to be predominantly women wearing this, but now you're seeing a lot of men wearing it, especially rappers. And the specific version that we see is the 5 motifs Van Cleef bracelet, which ranges from around 6 to 10K, maybe even more depending on the finish. And I know there's probably like 100 guys out of my entire subscriber count of 800K that can afford these, but to the rest of you, this is a merely sickening price. So some alternatives I've found, obviously not using the same materials. We have the Commo link bracelet from Common Lines coming in at $114. I actually have this bracelet in the black and gold. I love it. I wear it all the time. Another good alternative is the Hatton Labs Daisy bracelet, giving a very similar feel to the Van Cleef design. And theirs is made from 100% 925 silver, and they also have some gems in here. And then we also have Crafted London coming in with their almost copycat version of the Van Cleef for $69. Another bracelet that is also quite popular is the Cartier Trinity bracelet. This is a cord with a piece of gold on it. Guess how much this costs? $960 for this. $960 for a piece of golden cord. Insane. Only Cartier can do that. So some more sensible options. If you're still wanting to be in the luxury realm, you have one from David Yurman, which is their sculpted cable link cord bracelet using a mixture of 18 karat gold as well as 925 silver, priced at $295. And then the most affordable option that I've been able to find is the Majuri link cord bracelet for $98 using 925 silver as well. What's very interesting in the fragrance world is that there are clone and dupes. They aren't exactly the same as the original, but they're kind of like inspired by. So it's the untrained nose. They're very similar. I would say about 80 to 90% of the way there. So if you wanted to get a similar vibe to a really expensive fragrance, this is a great way to go if you can't afford it. So starting with our first big daddy expensive popular fragrance is Creed Aventus. Now Creed Aventus is a fresh pineapple, smoky birch fragrance, an everyday type fragrance, could easily be a signature fragrance, and this costs around $500. Now the dupe version, which everybody says is almost identical, don't know about the performance, is Club de Nuit Intense Men by Armaf, coming in at $38. The next really popular one, I'd say even hyped fragrance right now, is Louis Vuitton Imagination. This is a very fresh fragrance with notes of black tea, orange, ginger, again another daily wear fragrance, and the clone version of it is Al Hermain Amber Oud Aqua Dubai, priced at $43.99. And our final popular fragrance is Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille. Now, Tobacco Vanille is a great option for fall and winter, and it is priced at $445 for the 100 ml version. As the name suggests, this is tobacco and vanilla. It is the James Bond of fragrances. A lot of people like this fragrance. And in terms of clones, the closest one that I found is Tobacco Touch by Maison Alhambra, I think is how you pronounce it. That might sound silly, actually, but I apologize. This is the name, and it is priced at $19.25, which is outrageous. If this even smells remotely similar to tobacco vanilla, that is a crazy pickup. So guys, I hope this video has been extremely useful for some of you. This is not to say that these cheaper alternatives are as good as the expensive items. Obviously, there's discrepancies in quality, but if you've been looking for something similar and you don't want to spend the money on the expensive version, I hope this video was useful to you. And as always, please drop your boy a like and a comment, and I'll catch you boys in the next video. See ya.